A year and a half has passed since Class 7 went their separate ways. In that time, Rean made a name for himself as a hero working under Osborne, and a new Thor's branch campus was established by Prince Oliver, catering to underperforming students and foreigners. Rean becomes an instructor here for the new Class 7. Their purpose remains the same, with a focus on special operations and assisting people in need. On the western front of Erebonia, Ouroboros continues to run their secret experiments using the new Aeon units. Class 7 is dispatched to investigate and deal with the threats. Ouroboros would eventually go quiet after a few clashes, allowing the branch campus to focus on other issues. Back at Erebonia's capital Heimdallar, a Calvardian spy group called Hercules has infiltrated the city and are believed to be carrying out plans for sabotage. Class 7's next task was to capture them. During their investigations, they ended up at the graveyard where Crow was buried and noticed some strangeness. They dug up the grave to discover Crow's body to be missing and there to be no signs of decay. The following day, they find Hercules being turned into Night Touch by the revival of the cursed dragon, Zoro Agruga. With the help of the leader of the Hexen clan, Rose, Class 7 was able to destroy the dragon and free Hercules from its control. Crow, now going by the name of Azure Siegfried, reveals himself from the shadows. He divulges his employment with the gnomes and states he has no memories before retreating. In the aftermath, Ash discreetly takes a handgun from one of the agent's bodies. Later that night, everyone attends a party at the royal palace. Rean meets with the Emperor, who tells him of the Erebonian curse, a force coercing men to do terrible deeds, and of the Black Record's prophecies, foretelling the coming of the Great Twilight leading to the end of the world. He has allowed Osborne to fulfill that prophecy because he believes any deviation could cause worse events to happen. Rean meets with Osborne afterwards in search of answers for his plans, but only learns that his heart originally belonged to Osborne before getting kicked out. Meanwhile, Ash sneaks off from the party into the Emperor's room. Under the influence of the curse, he shoots him with the stolen handgun to get revenge for the Hamel incident. The Imperial government arrests Ash and uses this opportunity to start a war between Calvard and Erebonia by labeling him as a Calvardian spy. Altina gets called to the Intelligence Division HQ while the rest of Class 7 sneaks into Heimdallar's church to discuss what they know so far. Rose explains the history of Erebonia with the creation of the Septarian of Steel from the fusion of the Septarian of Fire and Earth, and its subsequent division into the 7 Divine Knights. Vita also appears to tell the group that Ouroboros has decided to work with Osborne and the gnomes to bring the Great Twilight to fruition. The meeting abruptly ends when the cursed holy ground housing the contaminated holy beast of Earth, the Graal of Erebos, is summoned. Class 7 makes their way into the Graal to stop Osborne, while the rest of their allies meet the other enemies outside. On the lowest level, they find the cursed holy beast, Altina, Osborne, the gnome leader Black Albrecht, and Cedric with his recovering Vermilion Knight. The group plans to sacrifice Altina to create the Sword of the End, a weapon capable of slaying the holy beast and releasing the curse throughout Erebonia. The holy beast is awakened by Black Albrecht to hold off Class 7. Overwhelmed, Milliam jumps in and sacrifices herself to protect her friends. Seeing her transform into the sword causes the curse to engulf Rean, and he kills the holy beast in rage. The curse gets released from its body and spurs the Great Twilight over Erebonia. With their objective completed, Osborne summons the Ebon Knight as Schmelga and subdues Rean. The Graal of Erebos begins to crumble, and Emma warps everyone to the safety of Erin, except for Rean, who was transported to the Black Workshop. Class 7 stabilizes singularities throughout Erebonia to locate Rean's whereabouts and stage an infiltration on the facility. Rean, who is still under the effects of the curse, breaks free from his cell and makes his way to Valimar with the help of Crow, who got his memories back. Rean would run into Class 7, who helped bring him back to his senses, and they would make their escape before enemy reinforcements could arrive. Unsure about their next move, Class 7 meets with Crow to learn about Osborne's plan and the rivalries of the Seven ritual, a process in which the power of the Divine Knights are fused back together through combat to form the Great One. This can only occur during times of significant turmoil, which is why the Great Twilight was needed. Since Crow is an Awakener, he was turned into an Immortal to participate. Rean decides to take part as well in hopes of stopping Osborne, taking on Crow as his first opponent. After defeating him, however, he made him a servant instead of absorbing Ordine's power. Afterwards, Rose summons Class 7 to the Luna Shrine to get a full picture of the events leading up to the war. She reveals herself to be a familiar of the original Rose, who was a fusion of the Holy Beast of Fire and the Hexen leader. Using the mirror artifact passed down through the clan, Reen learned that the curse was created by Ishmelga, who has been corrupted by mankind's malice. It had been working behind the scenes in Erebonia to influence the country towards setting the stage for gaining the Great One's power. Over hundreds of years, it haunted Dreichels and his reincarnation Osborne to be his awakener. In order to stop Ishmelga, Reen moves to complete all the rivalries before the World War can reach its pinnacle. He absorbs the Palatine Knight, but loses the Argent Knight from a Rufus sneak attack using the Auric Knight. Shortly after the fight, fake salt pails and the Imperial Fortress, weapons created by the gnomes, would appear over Erebonia to amplify the curse. Before the final encounter, Reen gains his title as a Divine Blade for the mastery of the 7th form Void, and receives the Earthen Prism from the spirit of the Holy Beast of Earth. Now prepared, he makes his way to the Imperial Fortress, where he defeats and absorbs the power of the Vermilion and Auric Knight. In the deepest reaches of the fortress, Osborne awaited. It was still too early for the final rivalry, yet the showdown proceeded. Osborne loses, causing the curse to be completely absorbed by Reen. Using the Earthen Prison and the power of friendship, Reen forces Ishmelga to the physical plane as an incomplete Great One, where it would be destroyed for good. With rivalries completed, Millium and Crow begin to disappear. The 6 remaining knights make their appearance to grant a wish using the power of the Sacrament program. Franz, who is now free of Black Albrecht, uses the Septarian of Earth to create bodies for Millium and Crow, while Rose transfers their soul into them using the Septarian of Fire. With the remaining power extinguished, the knights disappear from Zemuria. In the aftermath, armistice was declared and Calvard was given compensation by Erebonia for all their wrongdoings. Cedric joins Ouroboros as an enforcer. Millium's soul gets transferred to a spare body found in the Black Workshop, and Ouroboros declares the successful completion of the Phantasmal Blaze plan and proceeds to the 3rd phase of the Orpheus Final Plan, the Eternal Recurrence Plan.